What's up, guys? 210East here, back with another Love Featuring Marriage and Divorce Season 3 recap video. Big thank you and shout out to everyone who's been supporting the videos and saying all these nice things in the comments. Also, love your thoughts on the show. Great to read every week. For anybody that's interested, I will be doing live streams every Tuesday to go over the episodes from the previous weekend, so definitely tune in for that if you're interested. Okay, enough of me talking. Let's get right into episode 5. All right, so we start off with that pool scene from last week, and Dr. Shin possessed Mr. So. So Dr. Shin possessed Mr. So invites Dong-mi over to his house for some wine, and she's completely geeking out, saying, "Thank you, God, I'm finally getting laid." I really hope something gets in the way of this actually happening, but in the meantime, here's a picture of naked ghost Dr. Shin in the shower. I mean, I had to see it, so now you do too. Enjoy. All right, so then we get to what we knew was coming, a sit down with all three of the ex-wives, and Hae-ryung confronts Si-yeon, and she's still dressed like Prince in Purple Rain. So she goes over the whole Mr. So thing, everything that happened, and I think Hae-ryung has a point here. I think it's reasonable for her to want to ask Si-yeon to be straightforward with her, or at least tell her about what was going on in some way. And Si-yeon's kind of just ducking the question and being vague. And of course, I can understand Si-yeon's side also, because this is all happening very fast, and she's still processing everything with her former marriage and these feelings for Mr. So. And Si-yeon explains what happened, the whole story. And even though Hae-ryung doesn't really get a straightforward answer out of Si-yeon, she does hear her out. And even though it's not totally worked out, I'm still glad that they were able to all sit down as friends and talk about it. Okay, so let's get back to Mr. So / Dr. Shin and Dong-mi. They do get to Mr. So's place, and I'm just wondering if Mr. So is possessed by Dr. Shin, how does he know where Mr. So lives or any of the info he'd need to get into his apartment? So we do actually get a pretty interesting insight here with Dong-mi. She sits down and is thinking that this place is nice, I'm going to sink my teeth into him, but then she does think, I'd choose him over you, Shin, any day. That was interesting to me because I guess we're just forgetting about that whole thing now. The show originally made it seem like this was one of her main character motivations. Now it seems like it's just being thrown away very easily. Don't get me wrong, in real life, of course, it would be awesome if someone was able to forget and drop any incestuous, murderous plots that they had as their main motivation to get through life. But as a character in a fictional show, it kind of does take away from what gave Dong-mi her edge and made her this evil, conniving character. Then again, maybe this whole entire time, what Dong-mi really needed was to just get laid. Maybe that was the answer to all of her problems this whole time. Okay, so anyways, Mr. So, aka Dr. Shin, is leaning in for the kiss, and it's all drawn out, but then right when he's about to kiss her, he remembers how she basically just sat there and let him die in agony of a heart attack. Isn't it so funny what you can ignore and forget about when you're horny? Also, it's just painful to see this reenactment of that scene where he dies, because the new Dong-mi actress who they redid the scene with, although she's doing fine otherwise in the show, in my opinion, she really can't hold a candle to the old actress in terms of this scene in particular. The old Dong-mi looked genuinely insane and crazy at this moment, and I remember when I saw this first, I was truly terrified, and I was thinking, wow, this show is really getting dark. And meanwhile, this new Dong-mi just looks like when you have to drive home as fast as possible because you really need to drop that fat deuce on the toilet. She just doesn't look insane. She just looks in pain, like she's holding in a fart or something. I don't know. Okay, I'm sorry. That was so gross. Sorry. Anyways, Dr. Shin's like, oh wait, I hate this bitch. And then he snaps out of it and slaps her right in the face. He then proceeds to just slap and beat Dong-mi. Dr. Shin does, but the thing is, he's doing it in Mr. So's body. I know all the Dong-mi haters out there are loving this, but seeing her get beat up on, I can't really appreciate it because I'm really scared now that Mr. So might get in trouble if she presses charges, and that could in turn affect Si-yeon's relationship with him. So yeah, this kind of sucks. I hope nothing too crazy happens out of this. This whole ghost thing, man. Ugh. Okay, so back to the wives, and they are now planning a Mr. So send-off party since he's leaving as their engineer and no longer working directly with them. And this time, they're all planning it together. Meanwhile, Mr. So is asleep, and Dr. Shin has left him, no longer possessing him. So Mr. So has just no idea what happened with Dong-mi. He just thinks that he got back from the pool early and fell asleep. So then I guess Dong-ma wants to go to Hanguk World, the amusement park. So him and Ga-bin go there. All right, that's fascinating. But we got to get back to the Mr. So send-off party or dinner or whatever. And yeah, let's drink lots of alcohol. That sounds like a great idea. And I'm just really scared about Hae-ryung here. I hope she doesn't do anything too crazy. Back to Dong-ma and Ga-bin and their date. And normally I wouldn't even cover this, but they go on the rides and the roller coaster and whatever, and Dong-ma just seems completely dead inside. He's just on the rides looking completely bored and unimpressed. Something is up with this guy. Is he perhaps bored? Or done with Ga-bin, maybe? Also, just to add in, the whole karaoke scene where Seyun sings, while Hae-ryung doesn't do anything crazy at the party, it does affect her a little bit to see Seyun singing and hearing that song. She starts thinking of, guess who? Sa-hyun, and she's remembering all the good times and how devoted he was, I guess how she didn't appreciate that. And meanwhile, the song that Seyun is singing is all about true love and devotion, and the lyrics are literally saying, when I will be able to return to the star I call home. And I really hope this isn't the direction they're taking Hae-ryung's character in, but it kind of looks like it here at least. Okay, back to Dong-ma and Ga-bin, and wow, you won't believe this, guys, but something actually interesting finally happens with them. And it's what I was thinking earlier might be the case. Dong-ma has been dead inside and standoffish and weird, and yep, it turns out he's done with her. Again. So he says, hey, sorry, you can slap me, whatever, but I'm not gonna marry you. I can't. I love you, but it isn't enough. And she's like, really, bro? Again? Really? And that's the thing that's so fucked up, is that he already did this once before the show takes place. And then during the second season, we saw that whole arc with him coming on so strong, despite the fact they have zero chemistry. And now he's just tossing her to the side again. Dang, Ga-bin, that's tough. That's really tough. So we do get a pretty interesting detail here. During this little moment, Ga-bin asks him, so is it someone else that's caught your eye? And Dong-ma says, not my eye, but my ear. And I'm pretty sure that's a reference to Pi-young and her screaming that Dong-ma can't seem to forget about, and that we can't forget about either, because we still haven't been told why that happened. Please tell us already. Come on, what the fuck? So obviously Ga-bin is a wreck, and I don't know why, but I hate Ga-bin as a character, and I find her annoying as fuck. The actor isn't even that great. She totally had this coming, but I just can't help it. I do feel a little bad for her here. It's nothing crazy. I'm not defending Ga-bin or anything. It's just in this moment, she just looks so pathetic. And I actually really like this side of Dong-ma. I mean, not as an actual person in real life doing something like this, because it's actually really shitty what he's doing. But as a character, it really opens up that psychopath playboy potential that he had from the beginning. I know that sounds wrong, but you know what I mean, right? Like, now he's a little more interesting instead of just being this like simp guy who just goes around fawning over Ga-bin when they have zero chemistry or reason to be in love. But when you think about it, he can say all this fake ass shit like I love you and it's because I love you that I can't marry you, but we all know the real reason that he broke up with her, and it's not Pi-young and her catching his ear. It's not Dong-ma's own cliche playboy self-diagnosed neuroses. It's because of that fucked up haircut Ga-bin got. And I'm sorry, I know it hurts, but the timing is just a little too convenient, don't you think, guys? Okay. So anyways, Ga-bin understandably goes nuts, and she's crying, and she's telling him to get the fuck out, you cold-blooded scumbag, and she really needs to work on her insults. That shit is weak as fuck, but all jokes aside, I can't help it. I do feel bad for her still. So meanwhile, Mr. So and Seyun stop by this church and go inside, and Mr. So basically continues confessing his feelings for Seyun, and Seyun starts kind of saying she feels it back here. She says she also thinks about him every day as well, so that's a start. Okay, then we got Sa-hyun's parents talking about Bada. Yep, I'm gonna skip this, but oh fuck, wait. Oh no. Is that? Oh no. Shit. It's Hae-ryung, and she's showing up at their house drunk as fuck. So I was really worried when I saw this, but it doesn't go as bad as I thought that it would. And honestly, I don't really care what any of you say. Drunk Hae-ryung is goated. She's hilarious. And she stops by, asks about the baby, asks to see it, asks about Song-won and is she buried. And she's totally sloppy, but nothing too crazy happens. And so the dad is totally into this because he wants Seo-hyun and Hae-ryung to get back together. And the mom obviously is less into that, and Seo-hyun himself just seems completely out of it, which is understandable. He's still getting over Song-won's death. That all being said, I really don't like this whole Hae-ryung and Seo-hyun getting back together endgame possibility because of just how, well, first of all, because just in general, but also how it's being framed here. It seems like they're going in the direction of Hae-ryung being the one to ask him to get back together, as if she was the one that cheated on him and that's why they split up, when it's really the other way around. They're really seeming to frame it as if she's in the wrong and she's the one that has to come back to him. And this just might be how it goes, but I really don't like that way of doing it. And I also don't like it in general. Also, the mom says that what Hae-ryung did to Seo-hyun was far worse than what he did. Okay, bitch, sure. I mean, maybe some of you in the comments will agree with her, but I can't rock with that. Hell no. Okay, so then we see a fantasy wedding of Song-won and Seo-hyun, and it's Seo-hyun's dream, and they're walking down the aisle, everything is good, but then people watching start going, oh my god, what is that? Oh my god, I've never seen such a thing. And I didn't really get what happened here, honestly. Seo-hyun looks at Song-won and all of a sudden she's not in her wedding dress, she's just in a plainer outfit. I guess that's amazing that someone magically changes outfits, but I don't understand what everyone was freaking out about either. Someone in the comments maybe can let me know. But anyways, it was just a dream, and he wakes up and he kind of calls out to Song-won, and we've been suspecting that there might be Ghost Won, that might become a thing. But if it's gonna happen, it's not happening at this moment because he just calls out and nothing really happens. Quick Dong-ma, Mr. So brothers scene, and Dong-ma asks about Seo-hyun and says some more father won't approve spiel. And I'm glad to see Mr. So is really doubling down on that whole I don't really give a fuck what dad says stuff. And Dong-ma also tells Mr. So about Ga-bin and how that's over now. And Mr. So's like, dang, really? Again? You're gonna burn in hell, man. And Dong-ma's like, yeah, whatever. So now we check in with Dong-mi, who's been completely traumatized by her beating she received from Mr. So, aka Dr. Shin, and she appears to be leaving. She tells Yu Shin and Ami that she's going to visit a friend in Singapore. Whether this is the truth or not, we'll have to see, but she definitely looks totally done with both of them in that whole situation, and I, for one, am happy to see that. I was so tired of her and Ami bickering all the time and living in the same house, and Dong-mi just walks out, completely ignoring Ami, and I love it. Okay, back to Mr. So and Dong-ma. So Hae-ryung happens to be in the same restaurant or whatever, cafe, and she stops by and Dong-ma asks her to join them. Mr. So gets a call and leaves, and Dong-ma and Hae-ryung are alone. So they sit and talk, and Hae-ryung tries to get intel from Dong-ma about Seo-hyun and Mr. So, but Dong-ma kind of shuts that down and says, hey, I'm not going to talk about that without my brother here. And Hae-ryung thinks to herself, and I'm serious, this is a direct verbatim quote, she thinks to herself, I'd throw myself at him if only my eggs were more productive. Okay, next we're checking in with Pi-young. She runs into this bitchy lady at work. I don't know if she's a new character or not, but that's all we see of her for now. So she gets a call from her girl, Ami, who wants to meet up for coffee. Still with this buddy shit. God damn it. So then we get a Yu-ram Hae-ryun scene, and you know what? I'll take it. Hae-ryun is in it, but we also get Yu-ram, so I can live with it. So Yu-ram sees his dad in his car and goes and says hi, and then they go get a snack. And Yu-ram asks him to take off his mask because he can't hear what he's saying, and Hae-ryun does and explains what happened. And Yu-ram, I really feel bad for the kid. He cries, obviously, because he doesn't like seeing his dad like that. And I'm glad we got this scene, actually, because it reminds us that while Hae-ryun is a fucking scumbag, he also is Yu-ram's dad, whom Yu-ram misses. And it's just a good reminder about the complexity of these kind of situations in real life with affairs and broken families. It's not just as easy as he's the bad guy and he's got to go away forever. There's also the kids to consider. Okay, so then we get to Pee-young and Ami sitting down for coffee because, you know, they're just besties now, apparently. And they discuss Dong-mi leaving and what to do with the whole ritual and the ghost and the exorcism and, you know, all that usual stuff you sit down and have coffee with your girlfriend and talk about. So while this is going on, Hae-ryung happens to walk by and says hi to Pee-young, and we get this great crossover moment between Ami and Hae-ryung, and Hae-ryung just kind of stares down Ami, and Ami stares right back. And we all know from last week, Ami and Ga-bin were talking all that shit, and they really don't want that smoke with Hae-ryung. I promise they don't. And afterwards, Pee-young asks about it, and Ami actually starts going into it about Hae-ryung in the interview, but then gets cut short and says that she actually has to go. And I was really interested to see what would happen there, because despite Ami and Pee-young being besties now, Hae-ryung is supposed to be Pee-young's real friend, so I was interested to see how Pee-young would react. Pee-young does ask Ami in this conversation if she's happy with the life that she's made, how everything turned out. And Ami's like, yeah, I'm happy, but I feel guilty for what I did to you. And Pee-young's just like, don't bother. As if they were talking about Ami borrowing money from Pee-young in college and never paying her back. It's just such a shame to see how far we've gotten away from season 2. Okay, then we get to what we saw in the preview from last week. Dong-ma calls up Pee-young and says, hey, you're Pee-young. She's like, yeah, I am. Dong-ma's like, hey, I just pulled up. Can we talk? I have something to say. And then he gives her a ride home and then asks to take her to dinner. And so then they go to dinner, and Pee-young is kind of thinking to herself, oh, he's probably going to ask about Si-eun and Mr. So. And she's not really suspicious of anything at this point. So they sit down to eat at this really nice restaurant, and Pee-young's all impressed with Dong-ma's status, and she's all like, ooh, this is nice. So Dong-ma gives Pee-young his card, and she sees, and we find out, that he works in AI technology. And it's now that I'm going to drop my conspiracy theory. Okay, so Dong-ma works in AI technology, right? So he designed an android robot named Yu Shin and got it to marry Pee-young so he could then swoop in later and take her for himself. Now that the android has done its job of cheating on Pee-young, he switched it back with a real human, and that's why we see a different actor now. Tell me where I'm wrong. Okay, so quick break to see Si-eun eating with the kids, and she imagines telling them about Mr. So, but doesn't quite get to it because Yu-ram brings up that he saw his dad and found out about his Bell's palsy, and even Hyung-gi is kind of like, oh damn, that sucks. And Si-eun's thinking to herself, oh shit, I didn't tell them that. Guess it's not a good time to drop the Mr. So being your new daddy news. Okay, back to Pee-young and Dong-ma, and he finally asks, hey, do you want me to cut to the chase or begin at the top? And she's like, just cut to the chase. And so he says, I'd like to marry the woman in front of me. That is you, Pee-young. And she's like, what the fuck? And okay, I know. Let me just put my theory here on the table so that we can see if I'm right or wrong. You guys will find out instantly, but I will not find out till tomorrow in time-wise. So my theory is that maybe Dong-ma wants to help out his brother, Mr. So. And to do this, he's going to fake a romance or marriage with Pee-young. We know that the dad's favorite is Dong-ma, and maybe Dong-ma is thinking, hey, if I get into this fake romance with an older woman, just like Mr. So, my brother is doing, maybe my dad will be forced to accept that because I'm the favorite, and if he's forced to accept that, or at least be threatened with it, he'll then be forced to accept Mr. So and his romance with Si-eun. That's pretty much the only thing I can think of that makes sense, and I know it's totally disregarding the whole Pee-young screaming and Dong-ma being affected by that, but I just wanted to put that on the table for fun so we can see right away if I'm right or wrong. And with that being said, let's find out right now and go to the next episode. Okay, so we're right back where we left off, and Dong-ma is still maintaining that he's serious about marrying Pee-young. Looks like my theory isn't gonna be right. I still don't believe it really at this point, but apparently she stood out to him. Pee-young is, as I imagine all of us are, pretty taken aback and freaked out. Anyways, forget that for now, because Dong-ma finally brings up the screams he heard Pee-young make at the doctor's the other day, and it turns out she was having cryotherapy. all those theories me and everyone else were coming up with for the screams and what that meant, her being pregnant or her having the same disease as her mom, only to find out it was just cryotherapy. That is really funny. I'm sorry. Anyways, Dongma continues to lay on the weirdness and creepiness by saying her screams sounded electrifying and pleasurable. The fuck is even happening? And heads up, guys, I'm going to be saying that a lot during this episode. Piyung continues to be totally weirded out. She really just doesn't know what to make of this lunatic. And Dongma is going full-on psycho mode now. And there's just an endless parade of insanely terrible, corny, cringy quotes coming from this man's mouth. And I mean, take your pick. So Piyung tries her best to talk some sense into him, saying, dude, look, I'm older than you. I'm recently divorced. I got a kid. Like, come on, man. You can't be serious about this. And this fucking guy responds to all of that by saying, hey, well, yeah, that might be true, but I've probably read more books than you have. What is wrong with this guy? Yushin, Haeryun, move aside. Dongma has now become the new king of bullshit this season, and he's done it all within like the first 5-10 minutes of this episode. And I don't know what it is with all the guys in this show and the patronizing nature, elemental metaphors and similes, words of wisdom shit, but it's back. Literally, there were large portions of this monologue that he goes on where I have absolutely no idea what he's even talking about. Like, none. So I really just want to skip over most of this and just summarize by saying Dongma is a fucking nut job. But I gotta tell you guys this. He also tells Piyung he left his fiance for her. Literally just dumped Gabin again just because he liked how Piyung screamed at the doctors. Gabin is punching the air right now. He also says, please don't judge me without getting to know me first. And nah, dude, I think we've seen enough. I think we're all set there. We know all we need to know. So Dongma does make one semi-coherent, solid point here in the midst of all this. He says to Piyung, hey, don't let your previous marriage keep you from ever trying to fall in love again. Which actually is a totally true and good piece of advice in a vacuum in general. Just not with you, you psychotic freak. No more icebergs or clouds. Just shut up, man. Look, this scene drags on for a really long time, and it definitely is completely ridiculous, but I do want to say, just in terms of the filmmaking, it really is great how the waitress comes in and serves the food, and then also there's the whole thing with the metaphors of relationships and different kinds of food, and it's actually structured kind of like this theater piece with intermissions as the waitress comes in, and Piyung literally has food for thought every time they take a break and stop talking to consider what this guy is saying. So Piyung tries everything. She literally says, you scare me. She tries friend zoning him. She tries getting sharp with him and saying, that's all you're gonna get, man. And Dongma just doesn't care. He won't be deterred. He won't change his mind. And I don't know when I started noticing it, but yeah, this scene is gonna go on for a very long time and be kind of like the scenes in earlier seasons with Yushin and Piyung or Haeryun and his family. It's gonna be one of these long, extended one-on-one conversations, which is really a bad sign for the legitimacy of this relationship, because if the show is taking enough time to develop this and make sure it's a really long scene, it probably means it's going to be important for these two characters. God damn it. And eventually we finally take a break. Jesus Christ. So we check in with Sahyun and his parents, and we're going right back to Dongma and Piyung. And again, I'm not going to go over every last word they say, but basically Dongma keeps asking Piyung about her life and her past relationships and how she feels about men and wanting to get to know her more and talk all night. And Dongma is totally ridiculous, don't get me wrong, and I don't know what the fuck is going on really, but Piyung is mystifying me even more. Like, she keeps looking freaked out at points, but then also continues to engage in the conversation. Like, just get up and leave. Fuck this guy. He's completely insane. But she stays. I guess she's gotta be somewhat intrigued because she does text Gia and tell her she's gonna be home late. What the fuck, Pio? And we're still going here, and they talk about Mr. So and how Dongma cares a lot for him, and they talk about Siyun, and it'd be weird if me and my friend dated both of you brothers, and he's like, no, it wouldn't be weird. So then he even says, give me your hand, and he takes her hand, and she pulls her away eventually, but dude, Piyung, why are you letting him boss you around like this? Give me your hand, close your eyes, and listen to my voice. I just can't believe this is happening right now. So we get another brief intermission and we see New Shin and Ami at the movies, and wow, holy shit, they're a couple? I totally forgot about that. Wow, what do you know? Okay, back to the main event. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? Dongma is talking about their honeymoon already. They talk about Jia too. And then Dongma says, hey, you'd be down to have another kid, right? Even though you're old. I want you, of all people, to have our child. What the fuck does that even mean? If it's our child, then of course it's Pyoung that has to be that doesn't okay. So this appears to be a kind of wake-up call for Pyoung, because after this she says, I should leave, and yeah, Pyoung, you should have probably left a long time ago. And then we cut to Mr. So, and he's calling Seon to make plans to eat together, and nope, we're back. And now they're talking about bikers. Yes, they wear leather jackets. Haha, isn't that fascinating? I guess Dongma and Mr. So used to be into riding motorcycles, okay. And then they have oysters, and Pyoung likes the way Dongma squeezed that shit for the oysters. That's what's doing it for you, Pyoung? This is actually working right now? Really? Okay, more amusing anecdotes, more stuff about their childhood. I do have to admit one thing here. This whole buildup of Pyoung and Dongma's relationship, the force-fed, sped up version, their screen time together has had more development for their relationship than Ami and Yushin and Haeryeon and Gabin have combined over the last 2 seasons. So I guess I gotta give some credit there. During all of this, Pyoung does open up and say that she wishes she could go back and tell her mom how much she loves her, which was nice, so I thought I'd mention that. I guess the only silver lining here is that it's good to see Pyoung getting more screen time in this episode and having someone to talk to. Just why does it have to be Dongma, man? Why? Okay, they're still talking about more stuff, and then we cut to Haeryeon and Yu Ram, who are taking a bath together, and it's actually Yu Ram just remembering that and asking Hyungi in the present, who will scrub dad's back now? And we all know Haeryeon sucks, but like I said before, it's also important for this kid to see his dad. It's totally understandable that he misses him, and he's just not affected by the affair as much as Hyungi, who is older, so you can't really blame the kid for just missing his dad. Then we get another quick cut, and we see confirmation finally that yes, Dongmi appears to actually be with her friend in Singapore, and hey, look guys, white people in a K-drama. Check it out, pretty cool. Honestly, at this point, I'd love it if Dongmi just stayed there forever for the rest of the season, lived her best life, and made that whole ghost thing go away, taking that side plot with her so that we can just focus on other stuff. Although based off this episode, I don't know how I feel about the other stuff and what it's turning into at this point, but yeah. Okay, back to Dongma and Pyoung, and now Dongma wants to take Pyoung and Ji-ah to the amusement park right now? Like right now, after this dinner, and Pyoung's like, what? So the scene is finally over now. I guess this amusement park thing is actually happening. Dongma sends Pyoung home and says he'll meet them there. I guess we'll have to see if Pyoung goes through with this. And wow, that was a really long scene, but it's finally over, guys. So don't relax yet. There's plenty of weirdness to come. So it looks like this is actually happening. Pyoung calls up Ji-ah and says, let's go to the amusement park. And Ji-ah's like, word, say less. And they're going. So they go, and Pyoung sees Dongma there, but they just walk by and ignore him. And this is what the plan was. Dongma said, hey, we'll go, but I won't talk at all. I'll just follow you guys and let you have fun, because I just want to see you guys have fun. Totally not creepy at all, right? So all of this aside, it is actually nice to see Pyoung and Ji-ah spending some quality time, minus the whole creepy guy following them around thing. So we do check in with Yushin and Ami again, and she's still going on about the whole ghost and the exorcism and all that shit, and Dongmi, and yeah, what else is new? And Yushin basically is over it, and he's like, look, I'm not gonna go against Dongmi here. And Ami gets all triggered that he won't take her side and help investigate, and yeah, you can just, shut the fuck up. Okay, we're back, and Pyoung and Ji-ah are getting on a ride, and check out that weird pirate dude over there. Oh shit. Oh god, yep, that's Dongma in a pirate costume, sitting next to them. Again, totally not weird or creepy at all. Totally normal. Bro, what the fuck? Oh my god. Call the police. Seriously, Pyung, call the police right now. Look at this dude. How is this becoming even more ridiculous than the ghost story? So they start going on the ride, and Pyung starts screaming, and Dongma's just sitting there like, yeah, I like when you scream like that, girl. Hell yeah, just like that. Yeah, just like that. Ew, dude, what the fuck? Is that why he had this idea for the amusement park? So he could just hear her scream again? Oh my god. Look at this. I swear to God, this is the best screenshot of the episode. Look at this fucking guy. And he's still there, just like, yeah, I like that shit. Okay, so now Dongma is imagining him and Pyung and Jia together going there another time in the future. And I have no words anymore. I really don't. So we do check in with Sahyun's parents and now Hae-ryung, who has stopped by and wants to help with the baby. Oh, wait. Okay, I guess that already happened and the parents are remembering it later, I guess. And the dad is still confident Hae-ryung and Sahyun will get back together. And at this point, it just feels like they're practically breaking the fourth wall, and it's actually the show's writers brainwashing us into accepting this when it does happen, because it looks like it's definitely gonna happen. Okay, back to the amusement park. And now, as if things couldn't get any creepier, Dongma, while Pyung and Jia are sitting at a table in the cafeteria place eating ice cream, he sends a picture he took of Pyung and Jia sitting there. Wow. And Pyung is kind of freaked out, as you might be. But honestly, you agreed to this, Pyung. Why did you agree to this? And she looks around like he's hiding somewhere and she can't figure out where he is. And then we just cut and he's right there, just standing there in the pirate outfit like a goddamn serial killer. Are you serious with this episode right now? And he winks at her. Jesus Christ, man. Pyung, take out your phone, dial the number, and call the police. Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay, so, oh god. It's just one thing after another here. So just when you thought this couldn't get any more insane, while Pyung and Jia are on another ride, who shows up but Ghost Dr. Shin? And there he is, watching Pyung and Jia just like Dongma together. And we see Dr. Shin wave at Pyung and Jia, and holy shit, is that a wave goodbye? Oh my god. Oh my god. He's seeing that Jia, his beloved granddaughter, is happy and having a good time, and he must feel at peace now with Dongmi gone off to Singapore. Is this actually happening right now? Okay, now he's glowing and floating into the air, and I'm just thinking, come on, fade away. Fade away, you son of a bitch. Oh my god, yes, he is doing it. He's fading away. I think this is it, guys. I think we made it. I think this might be the end of Ghost Dr. Shin and that whole fucking arc. He's finally able to move on in peace, and I just could not be happier. This means no exorcism, no more bullshit storyline. He's gone, and wow, rest in peace, dude. So long. Thank you. Thank you for leaving. This is probably the silver lining in this episode for sure. Okay, so after that, we check in with Hae-ryung, and she's looking at her pictures of the baby that she took on her phone. And yeah, again, guys, this is looking like a sure thing here at this point. Hae-ryung is gonna want to be a mother to the baby and get back with Sahyun. I'm still not okay with it. I still fucking hate it, but it's hard not to acknowledge the show's signals that they are just gonna force it upon us whether we like it or not. So yeah. So now it's the next day, and Pyung sees all of Dongma's texts and she's smiling like this is all cute and shit. And I can't believe this. I really can't believe Pyung is into this. It's absolutely mind-boggling. So then Dongma also says that he wants to see her before he goes, and says that he's there right now at her place. He stopped by and he's in the parking lot. So she goes to see him, and I'm really not surprised at all to see that he's a where's my hug kind of guy. Not a shocker. And she's like, you can't hug me now, but maybe you can hug me when you return. Oh, no. And so then she walks away after they say goodbye, and he goes after her and takes her in his arms and kisses her passionately. Yeah, I'm serious. That happened. It just happened. And she lets him, and they're kissing, and for a while. And yeah, that's the end of the episode. And I don't have anything to say at this point, and I don't even know. Okay. See you guys next week.